A lot is made about the Browns' cap space. Take a look at this graph, and it will show you a couple of things. Now, the y-axis is the restructure potential. That's the up and down axis. Across horizontally is the effective cap space, the x-axis. So the Browns, they don't have a whole lot of effective cap space, but they have as much restructure ability as really anybody other than the Miami Dolphins in the NFL. What this shows you is the front office is from the Ivy League, and they do know what they're doing relative to contracts. Jack Duffin tweets this out. Browns' current cap space, they are $11.6 million over the cap. They can restructure Watson to the tune of almost 36, Garrett to almost 13, Teller just over 9, Bitonio almost 8, a June 2nd post designation for the cut of John Johnson gets him another nearly $10 million. It creates $0.475 million in cap space. Let's welcome in Tim Bielik from the Plain Dealer, cleveland.com. Tim, it's kind of laid out right there. How are you going to get the money? That's how you get the money, and that's why the contracts are structured like that.
Yeah, I mean, obviously all it takes is one Deshaun Watson restructure, whenever that happens, presumably closer to when free agency starts, and all of a sudden Browns have a good amount of cap space to go out and be aggressive. And the other thing I think we have to remember with free agency, and, the Browns took flack for kind of how they structured the Deshaun Watson contract, but a lot of teams do it the way where they'll minimize the cap hit year one as much as possible. And I would imagine, Andrew Berry would want to do that again with whatever guys he signs in free agency, because as we know and as we've seen the last few years, particularly last season coming into this offseason, is that the Browns value that carryover cap space. And when you talk about restructures, you're talking about kind of kicking the can down the road. This is kind of a way to mitigate that. So in a way, you're kind of balancing, you're kind of mortgaging the future a little bit by, doing these restructures, but at the same time with this carryover cap space, depending on how much the Browns want to take into 2023 and through the end of that season. It's a good way. It's a kind of interesting way that they can balance out the books. And we have to keep remembering also, with YouTube TV getting NFL Sunday Ticket, with that Amazon deal, this cap is only going to go up and up and up and up. So it's going to be interesting to see how, the Browns play with this cap space going into free agency.
Yeah, without question. And eventually it catches up to you, but you make a good point. The number's going to keep going up, and you don't know exactly how high. So you play the waiting game, and at some point you make some tough decisions, but that's down the road quite a bit.